All right, I'm going to be breaking down the standing straddle pulse, and this is a great one for anyone like me who's looking to unlock greater mobility, specifically in the hips. Now, we have different limitations for different reasons. Mine, for the most part, come from too much attention in my previous fitness endeavors around hypertrophy, specifically in the context of CrossFit-y, weightlifty, powerlifty type of workout. So all beneficial stuff, glad I did all that, but I have found it really advantageous to put in mobility work like this into my fitness practice at large. So anyways, let's go over this. The straddle, or the standing straddle position, is one that might take a moment for you to actually get with regards to the optimal spacing between each foot. So you want to shimmy those feet to a place. Okay, if you need to be a little bit more narrow, that's totally fine. If you find that you're getting this kind of slight stretch tension by going out a little bit more, that's probably the place you want to be in it. You don't want it to be overloading and too much tension already just standing up tall. You want to feel a good amount of tension, but not too little where it's just kind of like a natural standing position that's a little wide. So standing straddle, here we are. Now, a lot of us have probably already tried bowing forward and working on flexibility, which would be passive range of motion, so letting the back round and relying on gravity to pull us forward. What we're looking to do, and what I have found to be beneficial, and while I might not be at the place where you're thinking, this person isn't like looking super mobile, it's true, not yet, all right? But 4 months ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 10 months ago, I would have been narrower. It would have been more rounding if I was going to try to go with a flexibility focused lean forward. But what I have found to be more beneficial, and what you'll see plenty of people promote as more beneficial, is active range of motion, right? So the difference between flexibility and mobility: flexibility is passive range of motion, mobility is active range of motion. So it's all well and good, and this is an example I'll use quite often. It's all well and good if you can get into a deep squat, and certainly there's going to be its own benefits, and you will be your own good mover if you can get into a squat and maybe just hold here, and kind of be more relaxed, back rounded. But can you actually do more movements, get rigid through your lower back, engage the glutes, have a kettlebell, put a barbell on your back, etc., right? For me, one is more associated with higher function, better end ranges, better mobility, etc., etc. So, coming back to the straddle, to ultimately give us this pulse, rather than rounding and just reaching and hanging out, we are looking to stay under tension in our end range and utilize contractions, small intentional contractions, to increase that range of motion. So for people who are like, bouncing or pulsing, it's not going to help you. Not if you don't have specific intention around why you're doing it or what it should feel like. So we're going to bow forward, but we're going to try to keep a neutral spine instead of rounding forward, right? So keeping the neutral spine, I want to find a place. Okay, there's great tension here through the hamstrings, glutes, starting to feel it, upper glutes, and a little bit of lower back tension as well, right? For some of you, might be more than others, especially depending on what your training used to look like. But from here, I'm really going to rely on hips to create these pulses, these small pulses. I don't have to reach forward. In fact, it's probably going to be beneficial to keep your hands here, all right? It might not look like much, but I can feel great tension through my hamstrings and glutes. I can feel great tension through my hip flexors. And you might be able to see already my end range while I'm doing the pulsing, while I'm doing the movement, the exercise. The end range is increasing. Maybe not a massive amount, but a small amount. So over time, just by implementing this, maybe a few times throughout the week, maybe you do feel comfortable enough where this is something you want to work on every day. You want the rep count to be higher than maybe a traditional resistance session, right? This can go into the 50s, 75 range, depending on what your experiences are, how you're putting it into your training, et cetera, et cetera. But that is the idea behind the pulse, maintaining great tension and relying on the hips rather than some other swing to get you into slightly deeper end ranges, maintain the tension while also, again, pushing for more mobility. So have fun using this exercise and have fun implementing it into your fitness practice.